My Popo, my hero. Popo, my grandma, was born in a city called Shanghai 100 years ago. Popo was married to Gongon, my grandpa, who was very wealthy. Gongon had 4 wives and many children. They all lived in Gongon's big mansion. Popo had a daughter, Jenny, and a son, Freddie. Popo looked after her kids with all her heart. One day, Jenny's baby brother Freddie got very sick. Freddie died shortly thereafter. Jenny became Popo's only surviving child. To stay safe, Popo and Jenny left the mansion. Their new home was tiny but full of love. Gon and the other 3 wives and their children continued to live in the big mansion. Because Jenny was a daughter and not a son, Gon didn't pay much attention to her. Jenny rarely saw Gon when she grew up. Next door to Popo and Jenny lived a quiet boy named Herbert. Herbert and Jenny played together often. Herbert helped Jenny with school every afternoon. Popo saw a friendship to bloom. With Herbert's help, Jenny did well in school. Her dream was to go to university. Because Jenny was a daughter, Gon didn't want to pay for her to go to university. Popo fought with Gon and made him pay for Jenny to go to university. Jenny was the first girl in the family to go to university. Civil war broke out in China. Herbert and his family had to leave Shanghai and moved to Hong Kong. Because of the Civil War, Herbert and his family lost everything in Shanghai and had to start a new life from scratch in Hong Kong. Gon, Popo, and Jenny stayed in Shanghai, so Jenny was separated from her childhood friend Herbert. But they continued to write letters to each other. Jenny finally achieved her dream and graduated from university in Shanghai. After the Civil War, Popo believed that Jenny would not have a good future in Shanghai. Popo wanted Jenny to move to Hong Kong so that she would have a better future. Popo wrote to Herbert's parents in Hong Kong, and they soon agreed to help Jenny to move to Hong Kong. A year later, Jenny left Shanghai and moved to Hong Kong. Jenny and Herbert got married in Hong Kong. As a young couple, Jenny and Herbert were very poor, but they both worked hard to build a new family in Hong Kong. They had 2 kids, Winston and Franklin. Jenny and Popo wrote letters to each other. Even though they now lived in different cities, quite far away, they still cared a lot about each other. Then revolution took place in Shanghai. Gon's big mansion was confiscated, and Gon himself was sent to jail. The other 3 wives and their children all left Shanghai to escape the revolution. Only Popo stayed in Shanghai because everything in the family was confiscated. Popo ended up living on the streets in poverty. Notwithstanding Popo's difficult life in Shanghai, the revolution prevented Jenny from traveling to Shanghai to care for Popo. Jenny and Herbert arranged with a friend in Canton who could help Popo to move from Shanghai to Hong Kong so that the family could care for her. Jenny wrote to Popo to tell her about that arrangement with Canton friend. Popo wrote back to tell Jenny that she had decided to stay in Shanghai. Gon was still in jail, and Popo was the only wife who was still in Shanghai and could visit Gon in jail. In the next 10 years, Popo visited Gon in jail and did her best to care for him. Gon eventually died in jail. Popo had nothing left in Shanghai, so she finally agreed with Jenny's plan to move to Hong Kong. A year later, Popo arrived in Hong Kong. She was already elderly and in poor health. Jenny did her best to care for Popo because Hong Kong was a crowded city. Jenny found a small house in the rural area where the place was quiet and the air was fresh, much more suitable for Popo. Next door to the small house was a primary school. Popo took her daily meals at the school's canteen. Popo enjoyed the company of the primary school students. A few years later, Popo passed away in Hong Kong with her loving family by her side. This was the story of Popo, a story of courage, love, and legacy. My Popo, my hero.